everybody. This is Emily from Discover Fort Smith here with the fantastic and amazing Josh.
Thank you. I am fantastic and amazing.
He is.
Feel it.
From the city of Fort Smith. And we're here at the Discover Fort Smith podcast. And today we're super excited to be recording in Soul Studios, which is a local studio here in Fort Smith right off Garrison. And we've got Chris and Lolly here who are a super dynamic duo, local musicians who have done lots of different, like, you guys have lived multiple places. You've got album. I mean, they're just amazing. We're super glad you guys are here with us.
Call us
today.
Runaround Sue.
And the guitar that is also in between them.
The flamenco guitar.
Yeah.
This is Paco, my friend.
Yeah.
Wait,
So just
I
joining
thought
us.
you named it Malia.
Depends on
she
the
has several
day.
names. Well, Lucia, Paco de
Lucia?
Lucia. So Lucia or
Got some personalities in there.
no, Malia. I wrote Malia, the song.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Named after a hotel.
Well, and like, funny story, Chris and Lolly are actually two of the very first people that I met.
Oh,
in Fort
wow.
Smith. Yeah. I'm going to tell this story. It's kind of crazy. But Brandon Goldsmith,
Okay.
the guy who leads up the International Film Festival,
Fort Smith
Mid-America
Film
Market.
Society.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
That guy.
I had
That
gotten
guy.
connected with him, and we were meeting at Fort Smith Coffee Co., like right over here.
Yeah.
And I was kind of telling him, I just moved here from Austin, so this has been a couple years ago. And he was like, "Oh, cool. I lived in Austin or in San Antonio." And I was like, "Yeah, I worked at a French speaking school down there." And he's like, "Oh, I know somebody who is a French speaker here, and she lived in Austin, and like I'm gonna call her up." I'm like, called her up.
That
Right
does not
there.
surprise me. That
And
sounds
I was like,
exactly like,
"Oh, gosh."
Brandon Goldsmith.
And then I thought, what are the odds that I'll know this person?
Yeah.
Like, I probably won't. Austin's got like 1 million people in the metro area and surrounding areas. And he calls her up and we start speaking French, on his cell phone in the middle of. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I know some people, in Austin." And again, I'm thinking, like, I probably don't know them, And
Yeah.
she's like, "The Swicegoods." And I'm just blown away. I'm like, wait. John and Celine sounds good. She's like, "Yeah,
Brother John.
they helped me when I moved here from Cameroon, and I was their child's school principal in Austin, and
Wow.
she's your niece.
Yep, Clementine.
She's my niece.
She's their niece.
She's known Clementine Houtt since she was how old?
I was her second grade teacher.
What a small world.
She's like
I-
16.
Yeah, I taught her in
Almost.
second grade, and then I taught her again a little bit in fourth grade, and was her principal
That's right.
from like fourth grade on or third grade on. And then he's like, "Oh, the Swicegoods? Let me call up this guy, Chris. He's John's brother." And I'm like, "What is happening right now?"
Where does he live?
And so he calls up Chris, and Chris is probably like, "Who is this
I
woman?"
remember that
Like,
phone call. I was like, "This is amazing."
yeah. No, it was so cool. And then I think they came in town, and I went over and was able to like visit with them and you guys and your parents and stuff. And it just
Wow.
it
The
made
world
me
got
feel
really
Yeah, no
but
kidding.
it was at a moment when when you move
Yeah.
and you're starting over, it's not
I do know.
easy and it can be lonely and like you have to really work to rebuild and like facilitate community. But I felt so much better after that time. I was like, "Oh my gosh,
And then you got to
this
see.
is going to
when
be
was-
good. This is
When
going
was
to
the
be
last
great."
time that you'd seen Clementine?
The last time I saw Clementine was 2021.
2021. So then when you saw her when she was in my office,
When did we?
what did your mind just go?
Oh yeah, I saw her. It was just a couple months ago.
She's
She's a young woman.
She wrote a little sticky note and stuck it on her desk because she didn't know if she'd get to see her.
It was so sweet.
And she came into my office. Well, at the time, Olin and I were hanging
Yeah.
out together. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I got a sticky note from Clementine," and I was like, "She's here."
And then Clementine stands up,
and
and I'm
she's
like,
like, you know,
"You're
so
not
tall.
7 anymore."
And so my brother-in-law, her father is 6'8", and
Oh my
so
gosh.
Clementine is tall.
Yeah.
She is very
So she
tall.
went from being the 8-year-old to the
my gosh.
15-year-old who
Yeah.
I get shoes from now
She's such
when she wears them out.
such a great girl. Like, I just love her. I'm so proud of her. But anyway, that was just like a funny little.
That is awesome.
Isn't that crazy? It's a small world.
It's a small one.
But yeah, that let me know things were going to be okay in Fort Smith.
Yeah.
Like, this is okay.
So are you all from Fort Smith?
None of us were. Actually, my brother was. John. He was born here, but we were mostly from Texas, but
You grew up here.
Well, I'm saying I wasn't born here, but when I was 4 years old.
I'm looking forward to this
Lucian,
banter
when I
back
was
and
here.
forth.
4 years old.
Lucian, my son, and I have something in common. We both turned 4 in Fort Smith, and then I grew up here until left for
Nice.
school. Yeah.
Wait, you were 4 when you moved here?
Yeah.
I thought you were older.
No, you're thinking about when we moved across town.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But you guys have had a long meandering road throughout different countries. Did I hear that earlier? And then
We've
states.
We've been fortunate enough to play with some really cool places. Yeah.
Tell us more.
I
Yeah.
think Cameroon was probably the most far out, right?
Yeah. I got to live out my second grade fantasy. And I was so happy. It was like I never thought that would get marked off my bucket list.
Yeah.
And so in the second grade, I read Ranger Rick? And they were talking all about different cultures and all this stuff. And they were talking about the pygmies. And I thought, oh my gosh, these people are incredible. One day I'm going to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awesome. And then as I got older, I was like, you are not going to meet the pygmies. And then we got asked to go play a wedding in Cameroon. And we got to choose to either go to Douala, which is like this beautiful, lush, like beach, or we could go to just on the border of the Congo and meet the pygmies. And I was like, pygmies. I've been waiting since 1992.
But
They're amazing people. There's amazing culture. And
that day was amazing, but it was a long hike.
it was
Yeah.
very exhausting.
yeah.
I was counting butterflies.
So
to
you
not pass
hiked
out.
there.
Climbed a mountain,
physically.
A
basically.
huge mountain.
Wow.
I was like, just count the butterflies and you won't pass out. Just count the butterflies.
Didn't take my guitar. No, we weren't. This was we did do something similar to this. We did a TV spot,
Oh, yeah.
and that was the only other thing like that we've done. I
With
guess
Here Come Babe Brilliant.
so that was cool.
So how long have you been in Fort Smith? Like,
Almost 4 years now.
okay.
From when
Almost 4 years.
And you were in Nashville before. All
For
right.
9 years?
we were in Nashville. Yeah, 9 years.
Okay.
So how did you guys meet? Like,
yeah.
what's your story?
Okay, let me start. And then, so
She may
because-
interrupt you. That's
She always does. So, long story short, TCU, Fort Worth, Texas. I'm a classical guitar major, and Lolly, musical theater major. And then, so because they share the same building, we just kept seeing each other, and I just straight up walked up and was like, "What's your phone number? I want to take you out." And I've never done that before.
Well. There was a little thing that happened in between. I was already spoken for, like at that point in time in my life.
Oh.
Like my life was.
Now
I
it's getting.
was
Now we're
with-
getting to
I was
it.
with a German in my life. He was going to school in Berlin, and I was going to graduate, move to Berlin, and do theater in Berlin. That was it. That was my life. And then there was this cute little chocolate lab puppy that was running through the grass, and there was always this dude sitting by himself in these really tight pants, wearing aviators, like sitting on this other bench. So I don't know.
Not much has changed. Huh?
And guys,
Sounds somewhat familiar to
that guys always by himself. I mean, he must, whatever, that guy in his aviators. And I totally judged you. I'm sorry. And then this little chocolate lab puppy came up, and I was like playing with the puppy. And then all of a sudden I heard this voice was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cute." And I looked up, and the sun was behind Chris's head, and his curly golden locks were like glowing. I was like, "Am I in a Greek Orthodox church? What's going on? Are you an icon?" And
There's something I've never heard you speak like that before.
Probably I am. And then that was the first time that, I looked at you and I was like, oh no,
Yeah, that was the first
that guy.
time. We didn't
that
talk.
guy's
It was
going to be
just
a
like,
problem. We didn't even speak. And then
called up the guy in Germany and said sorry.
No, that was later.
almost that quickly though, because we went, and I think we went and had ice cream as friends. And basically,
Actually, it took about 5-6 months.
well, because I avoided you. I would walk around buildings to avoid him.
Well, that's true. So this
because
is kind of
I
Why?
was moving to Germany.
I did
And
not
the guy
change
that
my
I was
life.
with, the guy that I was with was like at that time I thought he was the love of my life. I really
Yeah.
did.
Well, let's.
So Lolly had
hope
no
he's
cell
not
phone.
listening.
Her dorm phone was the only way to contact her, dormitory phone that she gave me the number.
Or a rock at the window.
It was always full. She was never there. So I literally got pebbles. And one of our first dates, she forgot about it. So I'm throwing rocks up because she won't answer her phone.
It's like a
I
movie
was throwing
scene.
rocks up at the window in her dorm. That happened.
I was
really
probably
happened.
watching Golden Girls.
You were watching like a sci-fi channel, I think, or something.
You watched the Sci-Fi
Yeah,
Channel?
it was like
Lolly,
X-Files.
Channel.
I knew we were going to be
I
friends.
know. I love it. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
I love, especially like
World
Star
for-
Trek, you know.
Yep.
Well, anyway.
And so very quickly I realized that I was not going to be able to forget you. So alas, here we are, almost 20 years later.
20 years. Yeah.
So when did? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you.
But how did you end up playing music together? How did that all
took a long time.
transpire?
That was going to be what I
Yeah,
asked.
actually,
you go.
so, I was doing musical theater performance and Chris was playing in bands and I would go and help carry amps and I would go watch them play. And I'm telling you, back then he was playing like 5-hour long sets. So
Well, that's a
What were you,
long
jam
set.
band? What were you doing at the time?
Just classic rock.
Oh,
Just-
okay.
classic rock. And let me tell
Just
you,
playing
that's a long
Freebirds
time
back
to
to
sit there
back?
by
Rock.
yourself and drink Washington apples.
Yeah, that is a long time.
Yeah.
But you're feeling good by the end.
Fortunately, I met Annie and then I wasn't sitting alone anymore. But so we ended up getting married, skipping through some stuff and getting married. And I guess we were together married for like 6 years, 5 years, 6 years before we started singing together.
4 or 5.
We were living in New York.
You started singing a little bit, but we weren't a duo until like maybe 6, 7 years after.
Yeah, but only like, for fun at like a party, like.
Yeah.
do-do-do-do.
We
What
knew like one
sparked
song
it?
for quite a while.
Like, what brought you guys together as a duo?
Well, when I
for-
was doing some recording in New York, she was doing background, and it just was kind of obvious that Lolly's voice is too unique and good to just do harmonies because she's really good at harmonies from her barbershop singing days. But yeah, it was just obvious. Like, why don't we try to, well, 2 of us was the first song we ever sang together, the Beatles song, and I kind of was like, we kept doing it over and over again. I was like, yeah, we got something going on. Let's try. And finally, I don't know if it was any one person, like a Henry or somebody, our engineer, that said, get together. Did he mention something? I don't know.
He probably said something because he was never afraid to speak how he felt.
Yeah, the Henry Herschel major engineer, and he got me started understanding like real recording, like analog recording. Like,
Am I correct in thinking the first gig that we ever played together as a duo, was it American Glory?
I think it was. Yeah, it was a barbecue restaurant right across the street from our
Our little
apartment.
place we lived in a place called Hudson, New York,
Okay.
which is up in the Catskills.
It's beautiful.
Really close to Woodstock with all the hippies.
Nice.
And most of them are still there.
Yeah.
They're wonderful. They're lovely.
So
but
that's where
it was
where
a cool
started.
town. Yeah.
So you moved to Fort
I'm
Smith
trying
when
to
you were
follow all
4.
this path. You were in Fort Worth and you were in New York?
Yeah,
And
Fort
you
Worth to New
moved to
York,
Fort-
and then that's before Nashville. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chris was, well, if we're going to do the whole thing, Texas, Kentucky, Florida, Arkansas, Texas. Then we went up to New York, then back to Texas, then Nashville, then to Fort Smith. Am I correct?
Wow.
I
This was
lost
just you
track.
guys as a
I'm
couple?
Me too.
No.
Well, that's his whole life.
Oh,
I
yeah.
moved more as a kid. But basically, with us together, we started in Fort Worth. We moved up to New York. We moved back to Fort Worth. Our house flooded. That was fun.
That's right.
And then we moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and now we're here.
And had our kids there, and yeah,
Had 2 babies.
did a lot. Nashville was a whole nother chapter. That was great.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It's a cool place.
It is a cool city. It's a cool city. We wanted to slow down, though, to be honest with you. We wanted to downsize a little and slow down. And where we live now, actually, when we lived in Nashville, the kids could run to the creek and shouldn't really say that, you made a face because I stuttered. You totally did. You looked at me like, what's wrong with you? But it's similar here, too. They can go fishing and,
I love it.
and I love their school here. Bonneville's awesome.
Yeah, that's where I went. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That is cool.
Oh, that's neat. Full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, next year or August, I said Lila's going to join Lucian. Not only make our lives easier, but it'll be really cool to have both of them
Yeah.
from my old school.
So, Lolly, where are you from? Tell.
I was born in Florida.
Oh, I remember that. You've told me. Yeah.
Jacksonville, Florida. And then I moved to Owensboro, Kentucky, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and then to Fort Worth, where I met this guy, and then to New York, and then back to Texas, and then to Nashville, and now to Arkansas.
That's right. You got it right.
Nice. So, and you guys have done a lot of recording throughout the years as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite place? I mean, we did kind of international Cameroon. What's been your favorite stage or place to play or people to play with? What are some tell the cool stories? I got to open up for these
Let
people.
me start because there's been so many, but one that was the most unique was probably performing acoustically in a beautiful creek in Tennessee for those
Oh,
dinners.
yeah.
that was
that
amazing.
was cool.
Yeah,
That was cool.
And that was just a farm to table kind of experience that we were a part of.
But
Is this
there's
the
so
one
many.
north of kind of north of Nashville?
You know, it's called Edible.
Yeah.
Edible. Yeah, we used to play for a lot of their dinners. They were so
Because
fun.
the stage was
They
a
were so
creek.
fun.
That was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That
And
is
they're
cool.
still, they're
In a
still
lighthouse,
doing
we
it.
played a lighthouse.
Right? Like,
They are.
I was talking to my 95-year-old grandfather the other day on the phone because he's in Nashville. That's where I was born.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about it. He's like, next time you guys come up, I was just reading about this cave and y'all should go up there. And
Heard
like,
about that. Yeah, we always went to a show
cool.
there. Yeah,
It's so cool.
But what were you going to say? We're going to say the
Well, we
lighthouse?
played like lighthouses. We played.
That was unique. That was a short
played
lived
played main stages and stuff like that, and those are fun, and that's
Yeah.
exciting. Chris got to work with Michelle Nadicacello, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's an amazing bass player and
Oh,
solo
she's
artist.
awesome. If somebody does not know who Michelle Nadicacello is, they should look her up.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the video?
Yeah, John Mellencamp and her did a duo
Yeah.
and got a Grammy for the song. It was-
She's just incredibly
yeah,
talented.
amazing bass player. That was really special.
She's so talented.
Performing with her at Club Helsinki was a venue in New
That's a
York.
really cool club.
very
I
cool.
forgot about Club Helsinki.
And we,
How could I
we played
forget
there.
about
That was
Club
probably one of
Helsinki?
my favorite gigs. We
Yeah,
did several
it's a
there.
super cool club. It kind of has a vibe similar to Soul Studio, and they got organic denim and they ground it up and they used it as their sound buffer on the
forgot about
ceiling and on
that.
the wall.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it's a super eclectic place. Like the light fixtures are trombones and
Yeah.
The doors are submarine. There's like
tubas,
submarine doors.
like actual submarine doors to go through. It's a cool spot. Hudson has
really
a lot of
cool.
like quirky. We love quirky, fun, artistic towns. Like I loved the fact that in Hudson you could go to the laundromat, do your laundry, and like the best Jamaican food you could imagine in your life was just like chilling there.
yeah.
Yeah.
We also had like a little Jamaican grocery store, go hang out, all the kids running around. It was awesome.
So, like, what about Fort Smith? Where do you guys love to play? Yeah, because I've seen you play at a few different places. You've played at Levitt.
Yeah, I
We
love
played
playing by the
Levitt.
river.
Yeah.
I've always
That's
loved that.
fun.
But, like, where do you guys?
Well, we do a monthly stint at Prima's, and we love the patio.
Yeah, it's such a cool vibe.
And, Stonehouse, we're playing there tomorrow, and that's a
906
big
is always
deal.
fun too.
Oh yeah, 906 is probably
always
for
fun.
indoor. Yeah, that's a great place.
Where else? I know I'm forgetting. Why am I forgetting something? Oh, we love even playing it like Uncork'd.
Yeah.
They're awesome. And Jasmine does a mean chicken.
The food there is.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I never
and the
before
brown
we
chicken.
met Jasmine. I never put hot honey on chicken, but now I love it.
We need to have her
Hot
on,
honey?
Chef Jasmine.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, that's the thing is that like the places that the spots that we love playing here, like, you know, Prima Italia, like it's like we also get to eat there whenever we
food.
play. So that's like our date nights these days now that we have kids. Like our date
I'm
night.
a little too hungry to be talking about
is-
food. Like
Yeah.
The also Buco at Prima's.
Oh, yes. That's my
now-
favorite thing
Oh,
there.
it's so good.
it's
You
probably
can't do
mine
wrong.
too.
Yeah.
And then also the new on at Uncork'd, we just tried the it's the buttermilk fried chicken with hot honey and
Yes.
served with a watermelon rind salad.
Yes.
They're not doing the
Sour.
corn anymore. That's right. They changed it for now, but they were still good.
Oh, man.
But then all the now I want pasta from Prima's with
Okay, let's get back to the venues, honey.
Yeah.
No, we can talk food. I mean, we're good with that.
so they're just lots of fun places to play here and
Yeah.
the community's great.
Yeah.
Coming from a place like Nashville, it's like hustle and bustle,
yeah.
big city. The music scene is like really saturated. There's a lot going on, a lot happening. How has it been going from that kind of setting to Fort Smith, which is like more easygoing, more laid back? Like,
Okay, well, first things first. You get paid, not you don't have to leave town to get paid here. That's great.
Yeah.
And the traffic's not as bad. So those are the first two things that come to mind.
not right. It's
Well,
traffic. I'm like,
so being in Nashville was so awesome and so fun, and that there was always something going on, and we were very fortunate to be really involved in a lot of that, which meant that, you know, before kids, we could be out 5, 6, 7 nights a week going to CMA parties and doing
we
this
were,
kind of
yeah.
stuff, and then it was a lot. It was a lot though, and especially once you have little ones, you know, it gets harder to leave them. Even if you can, like to leave them and then come back late at night and not see them in the evening. So we wanted to slow down a little bit and have an easier pace, refined our quirky, fun, artistic little town like Hudson, New York, except here in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Like a little slower pace, but still filled with plenty to do.
Well,
lots
there's
of
other
great
venues too that we
food
play that
and
are
things.
awesome, like in Van Buren and Eureka Springs, where we got married. We love going up there.
Yeah, Eureka Springs is like a great day trip to take from Fort Smith. It's not that far.
It's not that.
And there's a lot of like
Quaint little, yeah.
super, and there's like ghost tours. You can go
Yeah.
there. Is it the Crescent Motel? That's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hotel.
That's where we stayed on
Yeah.
our wedding.
That's where we had
Yeah.
our reception.
Our wedding night was there.
did you experience any like,
Yeah, we experienced some ghosts, all right.
Yes,
for
we did.
real?
We really did. We really did actually.
I think I officiated a wedding there at the Crescent.
For real?
Yeah. For
You
real.
officiate weddings?
Yes, I do.
Okay, for those
He is a
listening.
minister.
yeah. I was a pastor for 13 years. So.
Wait, how did I not know
Yeah.
I
that?
remember you telling me.
Yeah.
Fun facts about Josh.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I play guitar too, but not near as well as Chris does. So I'm not classically trained by any means. So.
Well, he only got his master's in classical guitar because he loved Led Zeppelin. So
Well,
Jimmy-
I wasn't doing a lot
he
of
wanted
finger
the-
style, so
yeah.
I figured,
it was the Rain song, wasn't it?
Bronyar.
Bronyar. Oops, sorry.
Oh,
I
yeah.
stand corrected.
But that takes a lot of dedication and time. I mean, that technique is so intense. So you must have spent a lot of time training.
I just wish I had $1 for every hour.
Did you get to go to Spain at all as part of this? Nice.
Yeah, my mentor is actually is Argentinian, but he lived in Madrid, and there was a Latin arts festival every spring at TCU, and there was a man playing guitar, nylon guitar, Spanish guitar, and I went up to him afterwards, like, I want to go study. Who do you know who I can study with you? And he goes, no, Jose Luis Merlin. I gave you his email, and this is back before Facebook, so I just called this or emailed this guy. And he goes, yeah, come study with me. And I was like, all right, booked a plane ticket. Went over there not knowing what he looked like, not knowing. I thought he was Spanish, going to be teaching me flamenco. And I get there and he's like, Chris, I'm from Buenos Aires. And I was like, huh? But it turned out great.
And so like flamenco guitar has a lot more rhythmaticness to it, and Argentinian guitar is a lot more like love stories.
It's a little bit more like the classical style, but with a little bit of the rasgueiro, the right hand movement. So I did get to learn that style. And fun fact too, when Jose Luis he came to mentor me in the States, that's when Lolly first, when she was first with me, and I think he stayed for like a week.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember me trying to cook for him? And
We
I was
had
like,
so
do you want some
much-
fish? And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
I
Remember?
know. It's like,
And you didn't either. This was before you
know.
learned how to cook.
I was like, don't you just open a can and pour it in a bowl?
But anyway, that going to Spain was really cool.
It's beautiful.
I wish I had stayed longer though. I didn't do like what my brother did and go to France or Paris for like a year, or like what Clementine's going to be doing.
But you've gone back like 3
Yeah,
four
we've gotten to go.
times.
It's just 2 weeks at a time. It's not enough.
Yeah.
And I don't speak Spanish, so that's my other regret.
Shame.
I know. It's still time though.
There's still time. Duolingo, buddy.
So you have like a musical theater
Yes.
background. You have this classical flamenco Argentinian guitar. Yeah, like rock background. What do you guys play together now?
Well, I do force Lolly to play a lot of classic rock. So sing a
No,
lot of
I
songs.
love classic rock. You
well,
don't
no.
force
I
me.
mean, just sing like
like, I do
female,
it
like
willingly.
Jimi Hendrix, but with female singing. You know,
Yeah.
and like same for Zeppelin or Joe Cocker or anything. You know,
But we do a lot of jazz and bossa nova, and I studied musical theater. I love musical theater, but I really studied it because I loved burlesque and I loved jazz, and nobody else in my family had anything to do with theater or music, and that was an avenue that I could take because I sang Barbershop when I was younger, and so that kind of introduced me to like the theater world, and I love theater, I still do, but I ended up finding myself into this wonderful world that is a lot of fun.
How does one get started in barbershop singing?
Well,
Yeah.
you definitely weren't the cool kid back then. Let me tell you what. Nowadays, it's like, and once Glee came out, it was like, okay. It was like,
this isn't fair.
I
It
sang,
should have been out when
in
I
a
was a
group
kid.
called the Sweet Adelines in Oklahoma City. And they were wonderful women. They were wonderful women. It was me, the 3 other girls that I sang with in my barbershop quartet, and then 70 other women over the age of 60, which that's wonderful. They were awesome. But it was not something that like other people my age were like jumping to do, which
Yeah.
nowadays you have like the pentatonics and you have like
the
all these
acapella
people
groups.
and it's like super like hip and cool. I was not hip and cool.
Oh,
Yeah, it was not.
It served you well, though. That the harmonies that she does instantly is something. I mean, I struggle to be that quick. So you learned a lot of cool.
Well, I have a very sensitive hearing. I can hear high frequencies.
Can you hear that neon?
So I'm
bulb?
dyslexic. I'm dyslexic and dysgraphic. So reading for me is like not fun. And I have a lot of learning disabilities. So for me, audio learning was really the only way for me to successfully learn a lot. And so I was very fortunate that I had a patient mother who would read out loud to me, and she was dyslexic too. So she had fun, the dyslexic person reading to the dyslexic person.
I'm leaning the ball.
And so I would literally, even in college, like read to myself and record it and then listen back to it.
Oh, wow.
Because I wouldn't remember what I read. I could read it to you, but the brain just did not compute it. Like it's sometimes having like, little memory problems like that's really fun. I forget fights easily. You can tell me the same story like 100 times and I think it's great every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same.
So I was
My
just
husband's
really
like, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this like 5 times already. And
well,
I'm
why
like,
not make it 6?
I'm so sorry.
6 times a
Your
charm.
nickname was Dory in high school.
Oh, yes, it was. Yes, it definitely was. But so I think that also played into my sensitivity with hearing and tones and stuff like that. So we discovered working with Henry
I was
Hirsch
gonna
up in New
say,
York.
bring this up.
Henry, they were a little frustrated with me because everything there was recorded analog. And so sometimes when things are recorded analog, if you've done something as a live take, it's a real big pain in the rear end if you have to record that whole thing over again. It's a big
And I
process.
had to record my vocal over it because there was a very some kind of oscillation in
Oh, it was
one of
so
the preamps because they're very old
high-pitched.
microphones, and I think there was something that was super high, and no one could hear it but
it was like
Lolly,
a bat frequency.
and it was hurting your.
But if you could hear it, yeah, it hurt my teeth. I was like, if you can hear this, you will turn the song off. Like, period. You won't want to listen to it because it hurts. And so they weren't necessarily thrilled with me.
There was we.
Hey,
finally
but
found
one other
somebody-
person could hear
yeah,
it.
Adam.
Yes.
He was the only other person that could hear it, but we
And he
sent
agreed
it
with
out.
me.
We sent it out to a lot of people, and they're like, "Wow, we can't hear that high." But you guys are on the top of the spectrum of hearing. Cycles per minute.
Like light bulbs, I can hear when light bulbs turn on. Like when I lived in Oklahoma, if like I was upstairs and my mom turned on the lights or something, I could hear like the light bulbs turn on.
wow.
But I also have selective hearing.
Tell me about it.
So I can hear the light bulbs, but then Chris talks, and I'm like,
tell me about it.
Or sometimes I think another way to put it is that I have a hard time blocking sounds out. So like if there's like 15 people talking and one person's trying to talk to me, I have a hard time not hearing everything that they say, which sometimes you feel guilty because you don't want to listen into people's conversations, but you can't help it. And you're just like, no.
Don't
Yeah.
Focus on this person.
Don't listen.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be a weirdo, I promise. I just am a weirdo.
But you guys also like write your own stuff, and like, can you talk about did you start writing your own stuff before you guys got together as a duo, and then just continue that together? Like, what is that process like?
You always wrote your own music.
Yeah, I've been writing since I started playing guitar at 15, and but with Lolly, when did we start writing? I think it was you.
I think I wrote like some really sad little poem. And
Well, you just were writing words and melodies, obviously. It took a while. I mean,
And then
I'm
we
trying to
really
remember.
started writing together. We were writing together, but then we really started writing together when we were in Fort Worth, and we started working with the producer
2011,
named Jim Hodges.
Yeah. We are the producer that took us to Nashville. Jim Hodges was a really big influence. He was kind of like a mentor that kind of helped put us together after Henry. My solo work with Henry Hirsch, but Jim Hodges had a big part to play in our duo. And, he was like a coach and kind of a mentor. He was hard on us, and you guys got in a fight once about some bad lyric. I'll forget that. Was
I went to the bathroom. I was like, and it takes a lot, but that's just it. I only fight like that with people that I really trust and love.
Yeah, we adore Jim.
Because I'm terrified of upsetting people.
Yeah.
But Jim's like family. And then ironically, his son is an extremely talented musician as well. Well, actually, their whole family is extremely talented. Like I shouldn't just point out JT, but he actually went into music for a career, JT Hodges, and he came to visit Fort Worth one time, and ironically, he ended up becoming some of our close. Like, we became best friends and neighbors, and basically, he's my brother now in Nashville. we ended up living 2 houses away from each other. So from Fort Worth to like living 2 homes away from the son of the producer it's a small world.
And we still do a festival every year. We just came back from Santa Barbara.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorite things to play. It's called Champions for Children. And they do fundraising for a lot of different children's programs in Florida. And at first time we played it, I was super nervous because not an athlete, okay, water girl. And we were going to play for all of these athletes that were like NFL players and Heisman Trophy winners and Super Bowl champions and Olympians and you know, come on, I'm such a horrible athlete. What is it called in baseball? World Series winner.
Yeah.
And so I was super nervous because I'm awkward around. I don't know what to say around them. And then we got there, and they're just the sweetest guys. They're just absolutely the most wonderful people, and they all get together and raise money for all these different organizations down in Florida, and we get to go and play. We've been doing it, I guess, 7 years, but COVID.
Yeah, we missed COVID.
But then recently, the thing that we love that we get to do when we go down there is go to the elementary schools with the athletes. And instead of just playing for like the main stage stuff,
That's cool.
play for the elementary schools and the kids. And it's amazing to get to partake in that and work with our lovely family at Kellogg's, even though Tony didn't get to come this year.
Yeah, Tony the Tiger didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tony's
okay.
like, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought when you said that, but I wasn't gonna.
But I
just
did get
jump
to
in.
meet Tony Nathan, which was awesome. My mom's from Alabama, and Tony Nathan's a phenomenal football player from back when my mom was living in Alabama, and he had a huge mark on so many different parts of history and on football. And I was like, I don't know who a lot of these athletes are, but I know who you are. and he was very kind to me, and he let me take a picture with him.
Yeah, I took a picture.
I sent it to my mom, and my mom was like, "Why are you with Tony Nathan?"
That's cool.
So
He's a
what's
sweetheart.
your songwriting process like?
Yeah.
I think we
So-
veered off course. Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, no, it's fine. I love veering off
there-
course. It's my favorite.
Typically, I love progression, so I'll write a progression and then we'll just put lyrics and melodies on top of that. However, sometimes this
I'm the
happens
opposite.
rarely. We will write kind of at the same time. We've done that a few times, not a lot, but we're writing at the same time and something falls out really quickly.
Yeah, Chris has a tendency to start with chords, but I have a tendency to start, especially from a musical theater background, with lyrics and melody. And then, so sometimes I'll say, hey, I've got these lyrics and a melody, and he'll say, oh, well, these are the chords that would lift that up. Or that would go
That's
with
kind
it.
of a mysterious
And
thing.
sometimes
but-
he's like, hey, I've got these chords. I'm like, oh, well, let's figure out what.
Does it happen quickly or does it happen?
Well, when it happens
Slow.
quickly, it's special. It doesn't happen quickly that often. But
Yeah.
when it does, usually it's pretty, magical.
it's-
But
there's-
usually there's a process. And when you're writing with someone else, like our producer Jim, sometimes it could take a while. I mean, because you got 3 cooks in the kitchen, and so that sometimes can take longer. And maybe,
Yeah, it just depends on the song, to be honest with you. Sometimes it literally just comes out and it's done. And you're like, wow,
even
that was
Jim,
fast.
some of them were pretty quick.
And then there are still songs that I have that I've been working on for like 5 years that I'm like, I just don't know where you're supposed to go.
And every artist has that. Even Paul
Yeah.
McCartney was talking about how he's got nothing but just loads of voice memos, and every artist I think has that. Chris Stapleton.
I think
everyone.
the fastest song we've ever written was in under 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and it was done
Well, there was twice that happened.
twice.
That happened. Do you think of me? Which we still haven't recorded. That would be
Hey,
cool to-
Soul Studios.
And then that one you started writing lyrics to. You started writing lyrics before I even knew what you were doing, but you were dedicated that night. I think we came home from a gig, and all they never does is, but she was just like, I got something ahead, and she was
Best
writing
of
some.
me.
Was it best? Yeah. And then I was like, okay, so I just started playing something, and then probably within 30 minutes.
Also, another one we have not recorded.
Yeah.
I remember I saw you guys play over at Levitt. You guys opened over there, and you played a song that was like a lullaby. You talked about you'd had one of your babies,
Oh, yes.
and they wouldn't go to sleep, and this like lullaby kind of came.
Yeah.
I don't think that one took very long either.
No, it actually, that happened basically in the moment too.
Yeah.
Because Lucian, our firstborn, like what? I made that sound like it doesn't
Our
matter.
boy Lucian.
Lucian he was just fussy. He was a baby and he would not fall asleep, and he was just so he just had air bubbles or something. I don't know. We couldn't figure it out, but we just took turns rocking him in his room, and literally at like 2 a.m. when he was still upset, and it breaks your heart because you don't know what to do or how to fix it. Finally, Chris just started playing guitar, and I started singing.
It was too long ago. I don't remember.
And what's the name of that song?
He like trauma blocked it out.
He was just so tired.
What's the name of that song?
It's not Best of Me. Oh, I got the other one in my head. Sorry.
Well, I'll think of it in a second. There was the other day, I thought Chris was going to play the song Best of Me, and then he
started
thought
playing.
that I was going to sing
That's what I was-
that
yeah.
song that I can't remember the name of.
We cross-modulated. It was so weird. Yeah.
And both of us kind of looked at each other and we were like, we're playing the wrong songs.
That's funny.
What do you do in that situation? Do you just stop and say, "Meh, we're going to do it over again"?
We made it work for a while
Scratch
until we
it.
realized that the bridges were so different that it was like, nope, it can't. It won't happen.
And that's
Is it
the
called I
end.
Wanna Hold You, or is it-
Oh,
What is it? What's
each and every day.
Each and every day. That's
Okay.
right.
Each
And,
every
and there's
day.
another one that
We
I
haven't played
liked
it that much.
about selling the guitars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was with Jim. That was with our producer Jim. That was funny.
So,
funny.
gosh, what's that one called? See, this
Send you a
is-
card in the mail.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that memory thing where anytime I need information, I can't access it. Great.
I totally feel you on a deep level right now.
Yeah, I'm that way.
And that one was kind of, so I grew up, my family's from Florida, but my mom's from Alabama. She's from Enterprise. If you know where that is,
Nope.
I'll give you chocolate. Okay.
Very small.
Cotton
Can I
chocolate.
pretend like I know?
I'll give you chocolate anyway. But so it's basically, if you know where Panama City Beach is, or now I guess it's, what is it? I never knew it by the
Great.
dock number, but I always knew it as Grayton Beach, that area. Rosemary Beach, Orange Beach.
What do they call that? 38?
Yeah, 38.
Yeah.
I was like, I grew up going to 38.
almost
Why
said
can't I remember the
48.
name of the dock or the pier, But so that's where we went for vacations. We were 4 kids. Everybody got in the van. We went and stayed at my Aunt Judy's house, and we played canasta and went to the beach and made sandwiches. That was our vacation. So I was like, I have so many fond memories from that area. That I was like, if you ever hurt me, I'd just sell all your stuff and I'd just take myself on a vacation, go to Dolphin Island,
Yeah.
rent a boat, eat shrimp, get some Kentucky Fried Chicken and throw it in a cage and get some blue crab. It's the best way to catch crab. Chicken meat.
knew.
Get yourself some chicken.
I'm
Now,
learning all
now
kinds
we
of
know
stuff
how to
today.
catch.
Go to the end of the pier, drop it down for about 4 minutes and just
So
pull it up.
awesome.
That's wild.
Yeah, I guess if we ever move, we're going to Florida because you sound like you miss catching some.
I do. I love going there. I love
No, I do love Florida too, but
I love the beach in general. I love water.
But you said something earlier, Chris, that I've been meaning to ask about, and that's you started playing guitar at 15.
correct. I think it was.
So, had you always wanted to do that, or
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. Let's
Yeah,
just cut to
come-
the chase.
yeah.
My
Tell me the
grandfather in his retirement had a music shop, and when I was about
Actually, his grandfather's music store was here. It was L&S Band Company.
it was Little and
It was
Swicegood. His
over by the mall in the.
It's right where all the recruit offices are on the corner. You can see
yeah.
the River Valley Gym.
It used to be L&S.
Yeah, it was LNS. And so when I was a kid, I remember going in there at probably 10 years old. Back to the Future had been all the rage. And I looked at a red guitar. Now looking back, that looked very 80s. But I was like, I want that guitar. And
Learn how to play
my
Johnny Be Good.
mom and dad, yeah, I wanted to. But
Yeah.
my mom and dad were like, heard me. And then under the Christmas tree, a year or two later, I got a flute. Super not sweet.
Yeah.
You were like, wah, wah.
Sorry
Yeah.
for all the
I was like,
flautists
you
out
guys
there.
don't like me?
No,
Like,
the flute. You ended up
anyway.
loving it. You did end up loving it, and the piccolo as
I
well. You played the
know, and
flute
I was
piccolo.
first chair.
And the
so-
piano. You were already a pianist.
Yeah, piano was big, but I just wanted to play like Marty McFly. So
He did.
eventually I mowed some lawns and then saved up. And I'm about 14, 15. Yeah, I got a first guitar and I never stopped playing. Yeah. And just kept going.
You got bit by the bug.
Yeah. That's why she's always with me. Right?
The other woman.
So, if there are people coming in to Fort Smith who aren't familiar with the area, with the city, where would you tell them to go? Listen to live music here.
My
Well,
gosh.
usually we tell people that 906 is, and let's, you're not into
Yeah, well, we're fortunate. That's tough because you have so many different options, like Temple Live and like down in their
Yeah.
basement, they've got so much cool stuff going on.
Well,
Yeah,
Temple,
the Sphinx is fun to play.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the Majestic is so great, and 906 is so awesome, and going just to hang out on a patio and chill at Prima or going to Uncork'd, or they're all so great, and they even have like cool live shows at the brewery down in Chaffee, like in the brew room where
Yeah.
they do stand up comedy there, but they also do shows out there. I mean, there's lots of
I'd like to
lots
be
of
part
cool
Was that
places
JJ
to
Sellers? Is that the place?
Oh, that's the
in Chaffee. No.
I'm not sure.
I
We need
saw
to go
the
check it out.
symphony do like a Taylor Swift
Oh, I heard about that.
yeah.
quartet there. That was really awesome.
It was supposed to be amazing.
We were talking about
I didn't
Fort
get to
Smith
go.
Brewing Co.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But so there are so many cool places. So I probably write down every single one of those places and then get my little phone out and Google other places
Well,
that I've
AJ's
forgotten.
Woodstock, we
because I
play
would
there a
forget.
bit. I like that's kind of
Yeah,
outside.
AJ's is so cool. See,
Oh, yeah,
there's
they've got
already
that
things
one.
that I'm like, oh wait, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the Levitt is really cool. Man. It's always, you got to watch the weather, and it's tough to be out there in the heat. But man, when it's nice, I love playing by the river. That's
Yeah, the Bakery District's fun to play at, and then they also host the Riverfront Blues Society jams, which are so
love
fun.
their
Yeah.
third, is it
It's
third
the third Sunday. Yeah.
It's so cool. My first experience there, I went and I was kind of just expecting it to be like this band plays and then this band plays and then that band plays.
No.
It is so communal.
Yeah.
Like there were kids playing. I mean, like teenagers, like young
They
teens,
want that.
preteens, like, and they were good, like really,
yeah.
really good, like on the keys. And then they'd swap out the guitarist, and then they swap out. That actually was probably where I saw you guys first.
Oh yeah.
Was
Yeah.
one of those like a long time ago.
Man, but they're so fun. And they just, not that other people don't love kids, but they're just so like we can take our kids and they can just
Yes.
kind of run around and be a little bit insane like they are. And people there just love it. They're like, just let the kids be kids. And I'm like, can't you just sit down, please, and stop throwing french fries?
I just thought that was so cool. And the guys were like, yeah, this is my student, and I'm so proud of them. And they've been
Super
working on
supportive.
it. Was really
That is
like a
cool.
really special thing. And it just, everything sounded great too. So
The Rib Room, La Huertas. Like,
La Huerta.
Oh yeah, the
I'm
Rib
forgetting all
Room.
these cool places.
Yeah,
We
go
gotta
to
play there.
those
There's like a side
places.
stage over there. I
We
forget
haven't
about
played La
that.
Huertas.
No, I played a long time ago, but not with you. That was before our time.
Before me, who was she? Who was she? Oh, my other brothers.
Yeah, it was your other two brothers.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Mark and Jack. I love them.
Well, we haven't talked about this, but like, would you guys want to play something?
I'll do anything
Sure.
for you, Emily.
Like,
Yeah, play something,
like,
please.
Would you? That would
All
be
right.
so cool.
I'm really not prepared.
Now we didn't tell Joe this. Joe,
Joe, is
sorry,
that cool?
Joe.
Joe, I'm sorry. What do you need? from
Producer
us?
Joe.
My darling has flown away. The man that I love is gone and left me here astray. He told me he'd be forever near, but she came along whispering sweet nothings in his ear. Oh baby, what did she say that you hadn't heard before from me on the day-to-day? Oh, your love is only a dream. Now my heart can't feel anything. Your love is only a dream, so I'll keep dreaming. Well, maybe they'll try to have a child, but maybe she'll do something wrong and they'll make him walk the mile. No, that's crazy. He'd never commit a crime. Oh, except for breaking my heart. Now I'm the one serving time. Oh, baby, I guess I must wish you well. If I'd never met you, I wouldn't be stuck inside this hell. Well, your love is only a dream. Now my heart can't feel anything. Your love is only a dream, so I'll keep dreaming. Ooh. Forgot about the bridge. Whoa, baby, what did she say? Well, that you hadn't heard before from me on the day-to-day. Well, your love is only a dream. Now my heart can't feel anything. Your love is only a dream, so I'll keep dreaming. Your love is only a dream, so I'll keep dreaming. Love is only a dream, and I'll keep dreaming. I'll keep dreaming. I'll keep dreaming. I'll keep dreaming.
Yay, that was so great.
I'm so nervous. I'm like holding my
it was
phone.
so good.
Thanks for
we haven't done that
playing
much,
for us.
but you can hear the production behind it.
Yes, so awesome.
That was great.
Thank you.
I
When we
don't
were
know if they're
singing, I
listening,
said
but
the H word,
We need
and I
some,
was like,
auxiliary percussion.
I don't know if I'm allowed
Well,
to say
it's
the
not.
H word. I'm
It's
sorry.
not. You know, it's not in a.
Okay.
It's in a different sense, right?
Yeah, I was like, I apologize to anybody out
It's
there.
not like you were like, what the hell?
But she was.
We can edit that out, guys.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today and for
you for
sharing
having me.
that
Pleasure.
song and
Yes.
sharing a bit of your story and why you guys love Fort Smith. We really appreciate you
Yeah.
being
We
here.
do love
We
Portsmouth.
really do. We really do. I remember, because I think I was really just kind of ready to slow down a little bit and wanted to be in a smaller place. And I remember the day that I looked at Chris and I was like, I think we should consider moving to Fort Smith. Because his parents are still here too. And he said, well, if this, and this happens, then I guess it's meant to be. And then all those things aligned.
Wow.
And
Well, I'll say it. I wanted to live on the street I grew up on, and so I was like, all right, and then it happened. So
That's
amazing.
so awesome.
we get to live very close to my in-laws, and I'm very fortunate. I get along
got
with them,
great
and I love
neighbors.
them very much.
And most importantly, I can take my kids and we can walk and go fishing just down the street.
that's
We didn't have that
awesome.
in,
Cool.
in Tennessee,
Very cool.
and I love fishing, so
Yeah.
I should put that out there.
Well, thank you guys so much. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
And thanks for playing
Thank you
for
all.
us.
Of course. Thank you for
yeah.
having
Josh,
us.
Emily, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and if anybody out there has a story they'd like to tell about Fort Smith and would like to be on the podcast, go to discoverfortsmith.com/podcast and fill out an interest form and just let us know about what story you'd like to share. And yeah, thanks for watching.